Hello, and welcome back to the Franchise Millionaire Show. I'm your host, Andrea Bailey Brown, and I'm excited to be back. I'm recording this episode from beautiful British Columbia in Whistler, and I have to say, I'm in my happy place. There's something about being in the mountains, being in nature, and just the peace of the water and everything around you. I think it's a magical place to be. So I'm excited to be bringing this episode to you from a magical place. And the last few weeks, we've been running our 5-day Become a Franchise Millionaire Challenge. That was also a really great opportunity to help aspiring entrepreneurs become franchise owners. And that's the main work that we do here at Bailey Brown, the franchise agency. And every time I run the challenge, we get so many questions that come in about franchising. And I have to say, some of them are really, really great questions. And our team, we got together and decided we need to do an episode called Ask Me Anything about franchising. And here we are recording that episode today. And also, something special is happening as I record this episode. It is actually my birthday week, my birthday tomorrow. So sometimes when your birthday is on you, you feel like this magical energy and the everything speaks to you to be still here, still in it, and doing work that you love. Work of purpose is really a time when I spend reflecting. And I know if you're listening to this episode, you are also reflecting on what's next for you. And you're also tuning in because perhaps you have been considering investing in a franchise for some time. You have been considering going it alone and perhaps going out on your own so that you can actually become an entrepreneur. And you're seeing other people doing it. You're probably looking at my story, listening to this episode. We've brought on a couple guests and they're telling their stories as well, sharing how they decided to go from maybe from banking or from teaching or from nursing into franchise ownership. And as you listen to the guests and as you listen to myself, you think, I want to do that as well. I would one day like to change my path and own my own business. So stay in the game. Know that from idea to franchise owner, it is a pathway. It's a roadmap. It does take some time, but don't leave it for too long because you know what? The time is going to go by anyways. So why not let the time go by? And when you look at it, you're like, you know what? I now am a business owner. I'm a franchise owner, and I did the thing that I've always dreamed about. And we are definitely here to help you. And so we are going to get started on our first Ask Me Anything. It's the AMA episode, and I have to find a good name for it. So maybe you can help me with that. AA, Ask Andrea Anything. Hey, I think I figured out it's the triple A. Ask Andrea anything about franchising or about business ownership, entrepreneurship. It's all the same thing. So be very clear. When you're buying a franchise, you are buying a business and you are buying your own business that you are going to run. So I think I'll start off with that first question that people often ask about buying into a franchise. And the question is, what do I get when I buy a franchise? So what you are getting is you are getting the operational system and you are getting like their blueprint and their playbook as to how to run that business and how to run the company. You are getting their systems. And their systems, for example, if you are in the food industry and you are going to be buying a restaurant, you are getting the systems as to how long should that steak be cooked, what comes with it, What's the pricing? Where are you getting your products from, right? So you're not going to start from scratch trying to find vendors and, trying to figure out where to get every part of the food for the food chain, basically. So you are buying into a complete system. Some people also use the word like a business in a box. And yes, that is truly what franchising is. You are also going to be getting training, which you cannot overlook, right? The training is so important where they will sometimes come into your city and train you, or you'll fly into where their headquarters are. But the training and support that you will get is definitely part of the speed of franchising. And you need that training so that you can become excellent at the business that you are running or you're going to be running. Another thing we talked about is the support along your entrepreneurial journey, you are going to hit some roadblocks. And when you hit that roadblock, what are you going to do? Who are you going to call on? And it's great to have a team at a headquarters, head office, and other people in the franchising, in your franchise network that you will be able to call on. And of course, in franchising, you are also getting that network that you are building and the network of people, other people that have ventured on that same journey with you. They understand you, they understand the business, they understand your industry. So, yes, that is what you are getting in franchising and so much more. All right, let's get on to our next question. So this question always centers around having to do with around the cost of franchising. And the question is, are franchises too expensive to buy and get into? And that question, I believe, stems from the fact that most of the franchises that the average person knows would be food franchises. And yes, those franchises can be very expensive. You are looking at, a million, 500,000, and some of them 1 million if you're opening like a full serve restaurant. And the expense idea, I also think, comes from the fact that people often see a lot of brands such as McDonald's, Tim Hortons, A&W. Again, we're talking about food because food franchises are dominant and they all require bricks and mortar. And as a result, they're not running those businesses from home or in their basement. And when you're dealing with real estate, yes, you are going to spend a bit more. So that is where that I would say assumption comes from in the franchising world, where whenever I've done any sort of consults or anything, people assume if I do not have $1 million, well, I cannot become a franchise owner. And that in itself is a myth. So franchises do range from as low as I would say $40,000, which we have in our portfolio, all the way up to 1 million plus. So that is a big range and a big gap. And you can find franchises for 100,000, 150. So definitely, there are some expensive franchises. And if you get into a sector such as hotel or supermarkets, you will be paying, you'll be in the millions. And if you have that amount of money to invest, I'd be more than happy to talk to you and work with you as well. I would have to say the majority of the clients we work with are looking to spend maybe $250,000 or less, and we definitely can work with you. So there are some expensive franchise brands, and then there are other brands as well, which will not cost you as much. All right. I hope that answers that question. And I hope it also takes away that fear that comes up for a lot of people where you automatically count yourself out because what the brain does not like spaces. The brain doesn't like to have a gap. So if you ask yourself, if a question comes up and you don't know the answer, what the brain does, it has to fill it with something. So you are going to just say, okay, I got to come up with an answer. And the answer is, I want to buy a business. I don't know how it is. Oh my gosh. everything is too expensive. So the brain just fills it up. And what we're here to do is we're here to fill the gap with the correct answers. So that you're not just making up things that you cannot verify or things that are not true. So the next question is, a lot of money questions come up because when we do our become a franchise millionaire challenge, or it's like a 5-day workshop, to be honest. The first day we spend on the money mindset, and money is a massive thing, and we always have to constantly work on our mindset so that we can build a mindset of abundance, of prosperity, right? So that we're not always looking for ways for us not to do things versus ways to find out how can I make this happen, right? So a lot of the questions that often come in, they are centered around money, because I do think if we can solve the money side of things and help our clients see alternatives, then they won't be so intimidated about investing in a franchise business. So the next question that came up was, how do I get the money or to finance my franchise so that I can afford it? And this is really a great question, right? So the previous question is like, our franchise is too expensive. Tony Robbins said the quality of your life is based on the questions that you ask. So we have to learn how to ask proper questions and ask the right question, which is like, how can I get the money to finance my franchise? How can I afford a franchise? And with those right questions, the right answers will come. So this part for me is really, I do think it's a fantastic question, because you have to look at buying a franchise. I often use the analogy as which is similar to buying a house. The average home out there now, like, again, I'm in Whistler, British Columbia right now, and we are staying at this beautiful resort. Really, really love it. And we went for breakfast, went walking, and just half a I don't know, I would say maybe 20 steps away, there are these apartments, and they're up for sale. And the realtor have it set up where you can pull out the comp sheet, right, where it lists the size of the suite for sale, or the building, of course the pricing, all that's included in it. So I'm with my husband in Whistler, and he pulls one out because he's Mr. Real Estate. Everywhere we go, always looking to see what's in that area, what can we buy, what is there. And in looking at that, it is real estate. The place that we're looking at, it's about $995,000, close to $1 million. And again, if you're looking into real estate, you're going to think about going to the bank, right? Well, before we get to that, there's a first option as well. You can buy that outright. So, right? If you are fully financed, if that's what you want to do, if you want to pay in full, as they say, or buy cash, you can buy that 100% all cash deal. Sign the check, wire it, whatever you do, and you are done. So there is that option as well. And I must say, some of the clients I've worked with, they have paid for their franchise out of pocket in full, no financing, and no banks required. So let's not forget, and it's okay to manifest that option as well. The option where you want to invest in a business, you want to invest in a property, you want to buy your boat, your RV, whatever it is, and you are paying in full. You're buying it cash, and you are done. Or you want to buy your next fancy vehicle, your sports car. It doesn't matter. You're paying in full. That's a great option as well. So I would say let's just kind of hold that thought and give it an option, right? So that is one option, buying it outright, all cash deal, and we're done. The next option as well is you can also go to the bank. You're like, hey, I've seen this property. I'd like to buy it. And the bank is going to ask all the comps on it, right? and they're going to also maybe have inspection done on it and all of that. And inspection is the bank is doing their due diligence, and you are also doing your due diligence, making sure there's no cracks in it, there's nothing like that happening. And on the business side as well, oh, before I get to the business side, on the bank is going to also say, how much down payment do you have? Because based on the route that you choose to go, it may be the requirements are different. So in Canada here, if you are putting down less than 20%, then you have to go through CMHC. So the bank is going to want to find out how much down payment do you have so that they will know what the next steps are and how much you will need to actually finance, right? So the financing option is there. We're familiar with that. In the franchising side and the business side, you will also have to put a down payment down, right? So you can buy the business out, pay for it in full, or you can choose to go the banking route and finance your company. And if you put a down payment, 10,000 down, 20,000, you go to the bank and ask for the rest. What is the business side of due diligence? So the bank is going to want a business plan, and that is the equivalent in the housing where the bank will want to do a home inspection. So the inspection in the business is they're going to be asking for a business plan, depending on how long the business has been around, how long the franchise, how many units they have, what are the different revenue streams in the business, how do you make money, how do you charge? And the beauty in franchising is this is very simple and easy because we have what is called the franchise disclosure document, which reveals all of those numbers, right? So you can definitely finance your business through the bank, and they have so many different programs. Also in the US, there's the SBA loan program. There's the rollover program as well. In Canada, we have Futurepreneur for entrepreneurs that are 39 or under. We have the CSBP program, the Canadian Small Business Financing Program as well, which will finance up to $1 million. And be very clear, no bank is going to finance 100%, just like in real estate for your home, the banks aren't going to finance 100%. So it's the same, right? So be prepared that you can get financing, and you also have to be willing to do the work. And what is the work? The work is you actually go and talk to a banker. You actually find out what is the cost of the franchise you'd like to buy. And here's where it's a little bit different. You cannot just show up to the bank and say, I want to buy a business and I would like a loan. It doesn't work that way. You have to first find out what business or what company you're going to buy, what industry it's in. And once you found out all of that, then the bank will start looking at financing. So you must find a company and the business you would like to invest in first. So we're not going to put the cart in front of the horse in the business world. Things are a little bit different, and the bank wants to know what is your cash injection, what do you have to put in, and then they can balance the rest of it. So with any program that you've seen that the banks have, you must be prepared to come to the table with something. And why does that matter? You know what? It really matters when you start your business and things get tough and it gets challenging, because you have something to lose as well. You are going to go all in. You're going to work harder. You're not just going to give up, because if you finance 100%, hey, you have nothing to lose. So guess what? You do nothing. And the reason I'm going through that is sometimes online that information is incorrect, where it says it will finance up to 100%. And all the bankers that I've spoken to, they will say, it doesn't work that way. Again, similar to buying a house. So there's also, you can finance your business through a home equity line of credit, right? So if you have a home, it has equity in it. We're working with clients right now where they do have, a lot of equity in their house that's just sitting there, and they're choosing to use that for a business investment. Here's another thing. You can also have some people use family members to help them. for part of their down payment. I know a few people who have done that, and once the business grows, then they can choose to pay their family members back, or it's a family thing. However, it can be a gift, whatever you choose to do, but don't get also so fixated on one avenue that you sort of overlook some of the other options that you have. You may have had some other investments, or there's mutual funds or stocks that you want to access in order for you to invest in your business. So there's definitely more than one way for you to finance your business. And if you if you have any questions about your situation specifically, please book a call with us and we can help you with that. All right, let's get on to our next question. And this one was more of a personal question. Someone just says, why did you choose to invest in a Jiffy Lube franchise? And so that question I will answer because it's one of the most frequently asked questions that I get as well. And I think the reason people ask me is, number one, they see me and I do look like a fashionista, and there's no doubt about it. Love fashion, love style, and I love business. And so I'm always looking at the best types of business to invest in and profitability and all of that. So here's a few things. When my husband and I were looking at what franchise we are going to buy, what are we going to invest in, we had to evaluate franchises for different reasons. But what we liked about Jiffy Lube specifically was that we loved the fact that it was the oil change business. It was the quick lube industry was really growing. And what made it really interesting growing is that it was because of the 10-minute oil change, that fast you're in and you're out. So the model used to be a lot of the dealers controlled this industry. When you buy your vehicle, you had to go there back to the same place you bought it for oil change. It sounds great until you are ready you're ready to change your oil, but you need to set an appointment. And sometimes the appointments could be 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, a month out. And imagine you have your job and you're trying to just get an oil change. They're trying to fit you in. And so the opportunity came up for the quick lube service, where if we specialize in something, this is about, again, niche marketing, right? Now the word niche is a very big thing, but it grew because of the entire niche marketing, right? Where the niche world, you bring your vehicle in and you're done. So if you think about it, the 3 bays, you're in and out very quickly and under 20 minutes, basically. But it started out like with the 10-minute oil change. Okay, so another thing is in the automotive industry, it's about a business model that is recession proof, and everyone needs to have an oil change with their vehicle. In North America, most people are driving nonetheless. So it is important, that you get into industries that are recession proof, and that the oil change is a basic need for all vehicles as well. And another reason we actually chose Jiffy Lube, I would say, was based on what's called validation. We spoke to a lot of franchisees at the time, franchise owners in the network that were business owners, and they really loved what they were doing. So we had to do the work to make the decision. And when we work with our clients, that is something that we really encourage, is that how do you make a decision on a franchise, right? Validation is a part of it as well. So I would say that was some of the reasons we definitely considered investing in our Jiffy Lube franchise. And then our final question for today is that I got from a client that we're working with. And I just thought, wow, what a really great question, and would like to share it. And the question is, what criteria would you use to evaluate a franchise? And that's an excellent question in terms of franchise evaluation, and what criterias would we use? And so The first thing I would say when you're evaluating is you have to make sure you are going to evaluate the type of franchise that you see yourself running as well. What is required of you to operate the business? Do you have to become a salesperson all the time? And would that be good for you? Would that be a good fit? And if not, then I would say you have to reconsider, because when you buy a franchise, some of these agreements are 5-year agreements, they're 10-year agreements. So I would be looking into the length of time you are going to be running the business, and do you see yourself to be able to do that? I would also say something else is you're going to also be looking at profitability, right? Is the franchises that we represent, they are profitable? Is the profitability enough for you? I think that's the easiest way I can say it, right? So let's say you have a business, it's $1 million company, and the profitability is 5%. Are you okay with 5% of that million, right? Or you have another company, it's also doing $1 million and you get 20% or 30%. So you have to really look at how you're going to make money, what the profitability is, and the profits that the business is making. Does that work for you? And a third thing that I would say is the industry that you're growing into, is it a growing industry? Is it a declining industry? What do we know about the market cap in that overall industry that you are actually getting into? So that's something that I use to validate a franchise brand. And the final thing, which I sort of talked about before when I looked into Jiffy Lube, is definitely franchisee evaluation, right? What are the franchisees that are currently in the system? What feedback are they giving you? They are the real deal, and no internet or, no one pager can give you that. There's nothing like actually talking to people who are in the arena, they're doing the work. Talk to them to find out what is the day-to-day of running the business. Where do you spend your time? Because sometimes we look at companies and we have these fantasies that, this is what I'm going to be doing. And the reality is maybe you yourself have to be there working with customers, right? Maybe you're spending more time on admin and strategy versus being in your location. So I would definitely say the best way to evaluate a brand is to talk to the franchisees. And how do you access the franchisees in that business? Well, that's where you need to work with a franchise consultant that will introduce you to the actual franchisees who are there that are running the business. So I really hope that these questions will give you a lot more insights on franchise ownership and running a business or investing in a franchise. Or ask me anything serious, or ask Andrea anything, will be something we'll be doing ever so often. So if you have any questions for us, please email us at bbfranchiseagency@gmail.com. So that's bbfranchiseagency@gmail.com. And I really hope this episode was insightful for you. And I can't wait to be back with you next time. So here's to building future franchise millionaires. Now, have a great day. Bye-bye.